Okay, bro. So I have
Is it that
eaten,
bad?
bro.
Or?
I have eaten maybe 1,000 burgers in my life.
Yeah.
I think that's a good estimate, right? Could be probably a couple hundred more. Could be probably a couple hundred less. But in that range, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was by far the worst burger I have ever gotten in my life. Okay, and I'm gonna fucking break it down to you now because this was
Okay.
just vexing.
It has to be really bad.
It was so bad. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so
Been looking forward to this.
yeah, just fuck all that. I have to tell you about this trip to Frankfurt, right?
Okay.
Because I've been dying to tell you about this because we've had some ups, but we've also had some downs.
Yeah, so you were on a business trip.
I went on a business trip,
Yeah.
big boy thing, trying to be like you,
Mm-hmm.
because you go on business trips all the time. Yeah, I went to Frankfurt from Wednesday to Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
on like a workshop, like team gathering thing. And being the company man that I am, I didn't book 2 stays, so I didn't go the day before. I didn't go Tuesday. I went Wednesday morning, right?
Yeah.
At 6:35, the flight was.
Oof.
So first of all, I went to bed at like 5 Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
To get up early. I couldn't sleep for shit. My wife comes up. She's pregnant. You know she's pregnant. She's sick. Kid won't sleep. So I didn't really sleep, and then I had to get up at 2:30, right, to take a shower and like also help my wife with the kid and stuff. Then I left in the car, went to pick
What time did you go to sleep? Like the day before?
like 5. That's what I'm telling you. At
5,
5, yeah.
oh,
But I didn't go to sleep. I just laid down in my bed.
Okay.
Anyways, so I ain't slept at all, right? Went in the car, went to pick up San, and that took about an hour. So that was 3:30. Then we went to the airport. We were at the airport like 4:30, right? Maybe, no, 5:30. We were at the airport.
Okay, I was about to say 2 hours before.
Yeah, no. So we went in, security, everything's good. I found the parking. I booked the parking, so
Yeah.
that was good. Went through security, got some breakfast, went on the plane. In the plane, before the plane had even like departed, both of me and Saran were sleeping. I was just like,
Really?
and Saran was telling me I was snoring like shit. Yeah. Really embarrassing because there was like a woman sitting between us, and yeah, she must have just thought, what the hell. Anyways, flight was like an hour. We go there, and then we
You didn't have a layover, right?
no, it was
No,
direct,
straight
yeah,
up.
direct. So Sean rented a car. Sean's German, by the way, is really good. Yeah, like really, like he could just like, yeah, that was really good.
Nice.
So we rented the car. It's like an Opel Astra or whatever. And we were supposed to go to. So we didn't go to like an office that only belonged to. It's like an office building with different companies and owns like 4 of the floors.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking like not like consecutively, so like spread out. And funny thing, right? I'll tell you the story about the parking thing, but they had like you know that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where the guy is getting head from his future wife?
Yeah.
They had those elevators, which was like the first thing I
What?
thought when I saw it. Anyways, we get in the car and then we pick up some of our colleagues.
Yeah.
Go and then like, yeah, we get to the place. It was really close by the way. But this office building is located in like an office building area, right? Anyways, the GPS was shit, so we couldn't find the parking. And then at one point, Son went up like, he went up in the car to what we thought was the right place that had like this little booth and it had like the, what's it called, like barrier.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the place, and you couldn't even call anyone there. And there were like rails on the side, so he had to like back out of that, like while there were like cars waiting to get in. It was just like a whole thing, bro.
Or...
And we drove around the same block for like 10, I think like 10 or 12 times, bro. Anyways, then we finally get there, right? We have like a nice little sesh. Like we had to introduce ourselves and like say like stuff like if you had a superpower, what kind of superpower would you have? Which was cool, right? And then we also had to pick a song, you know this. We had to pick a song that was like our power song or our like favorite song or like a song that describes you or defines you. And I was like, I picked Levels by Avicii, right? Fucking banger. Yeah, but bro, I picked it because it's a fucking banger. So I'm not gonna lie, we don't music shame or music taste shame on this show, but their choices were dead, bro. Their choices were
Wait.
like fucking hell. Like,
What did they pick though?
like, bro, it's not like the songs are bad. I just don't feel like they were on my level. Because, like, a couple of Oasis jams and, like, fucking, I don't know. People pick the weirdest shit. Like
Were they
my
playing too safe?
Was I playing
No,
too
were
safe?
they playing
I don't
too
know.
safe?
Maybe it's just not my music, bro. It's just like
Okay.
dumbass songs.
Right.
My boss picked The Show Must Go On, which is a good song, right? But I don't know. I just feel like I outdid them on that one. Anyways, so the first day was like socializing, right? So it was mostly that, and we talked about stuff, but we didn't really like work as like a workshop. Cool. The canteen had pizza day.
Mm-hmm.
So and it was this thing where you had to like go in one line and then tell the guy what you wanted on your pizza, and then go in another line, and he had these like little like notes, bro, for eating and for drinking, and then you went down like handed in this little slip, and then yeah, it was like weird compared to what we're used to.
Okay.
Pizza was mid. Then we went to do this team activity, which it was called Classrooms. This was brilliant, bro. This was brilliant. I beg someone to do this in Denmark because this was fucking amazing. Basically, the lobby looked like the entrance to an internet cafe, like with like wall paintings and stuff, right? And then the guy had 8 rooms, and in each room was like a tablet where you could pick from 3 activities. And it was like fucking like archery with like suction cup arrows, and like stack this shit the highest, and like a quiz room and stuff. And then the way it worked was that you had from 1 to 8 points, right? And then every time you entered into a challenge, you had to choose the amount of points you wanted to bet.
Okay.
So you could be like smart with it. We didn't. We lost. The only thing we were really good at was the quiz. I killed them in the quiz. Like I slaughtered them. Like before they had even read the question, I was like, "Is this one?" So yeah, I fucking slaughtered them. And for anybody listening, yeah, and if you weren't on that trip, you know I did. But yeah, the archery I was mid at. But basically, it had all these games, and it was like I was thinking about the business model, bro. And it was like really low budget, and it was like a really good team building activity because we spent like 2 hours there. It was like 15 minutes for each challenge, so that was cool.
Nice.
Right, so then we went to a restaurant afterwards. Let me just say this, by the way. My boss's boss, you know who this is, can't drive for shit, bro. Like, I literally went in the car with him 3 times, and every time, like, he either ran a red or, like, or, like tried to turn.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm not saying any names, but I'm just saying that happened, right? So you can't drive for shit.
But... yeah, okay. In Germany, though, I'm surprised.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm hyperbolizing a bit, but at the same time, the things I mentioned happened. Yeah. So, anyways, went to this Italian restaurant, which was kind of weird, but they didn't know that it was pizza day at the canteen. And didn't know what to get. So they had like pasta and like obviously pizza and stuff. But then I got like this Irish fillet. Bro, this piece of meat was cooked to perfection. And it's been time since I've ordered meat like steaks at restaurants because they fucking like they never get it right, in my opinion, right? And then when I have to spend like fucking, I don't know, like fucking 30 plus euros on a piece of meat, it has to be perfect. Yeah. It has to be perfect. Otherwise I'm disappointed. This piece of meat was delicious, and like the service was really great. It was called something like Longobardi's in Frankfurt or whatever. They were really, really good. So that was really nice. But by this time, bro, I haven't even mentioned this, but by this time, I'm knackered, bro. Because I haven't slept for shit, so I'm just really tired. One point in the restaurant, I'm sitting there, and then I'm sitting, and then I daze off. And Søren's boss, she notices this. She's like, "No," like, fuck. Oh, yeah, did you see that? Yeah, I swear I slept for 0.375 seconds. I was asleep. Like, ultra fast REM sleep.
Was this after eating, like the food coma?
No, it was while waiting for the food, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
Because then you'd been active, and then you finally got to sit down, and then, yeah, okay.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, we go out into the car, and in the car, my stomach starts hurting, bro. And I don't know, maybe I'm just tired, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Go to sleep. Go to the house, to the hotel, go to sleep, brush my teeth, whatever. And then I don't know what time it is, but I'm assuming this would have been like at 2. We were home at like 10.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, fuck, I have something on my face. Sorry, let me get a glass of water. I have something on my face. Wake up and it's like, it's like liquidy. Go to the bathroom. Bro, I had a nosebleed in my sleep. And I looked.
What?
Yeah, bro, it looked horrible. Yeah. So my face was just covered in blood, like even down to my chest.
Especially if you've been like...
Yeah. And then I go in, I turn on the lights, and then like the duvet and the pillow fucked. But I'm super tired, right? So I just throw that shit out and then take it from the other bed and then just go to sleep again. So whoever cleaned my room at Motel 1, yeah. they would have thought
like a crime scene.
Yeah, fuck me. Anyways, wake up, breakfast. My tummy's hurting at this point still. And it's like one of them where it wasn't really like pain, bro, because that's also not true. It was more like I felt like somebody had just like had a grip on my stomach. And they weren't like squeezing or anything, but it's like that sensation of being uncomfortably aware that you have a stomach. Where like you don't really think about it normally. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, fucking yeah. Bad tummy all day. We did like some workshop stuff. It was cool. Talked about like our expectations and like change in general.
Typical
and
corporate
with
stuff.
like success. Yeah. Like no fucking yeah. But it was cool though. It was nice. Anyways, we go to the airport afterwards because our flight was at 21:50. Right, so we would be home at like 11, and then we had like Anyways, on the drive, I was in the car with Søren and his boss, and she and I had a Harry Potter quiz. Or anyways, I made one for her, right? Bro, I killed her on the quiz. I thought she was like, bro, I killed her on the quiz.
But she's...
Yeah, no, but see, I knew you were going to say that, but if I could come up with the questions that I know the answers to, and you can get them right, that means that I know more than you. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, but did you research the questions before?
No, bro. It's freestyle. Freestyle. You know you, boy. But she did really well. But I did kill her on the question.
Yeah, because she's a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, and I low-key I don't think she liked it. But like I did. Yeah, I had some good ones. Let me just say that I had some good ones. I had some really good ones.
What would you say out of that quiz was your best question?
My best question.
Most interesting.
I don't know if it's the most interesting, but the first one that came to mind is I asked her what the name of the magazine Luna Lovegood was trying to sell in like movie 5 was. Something like that. I don't know if it was movie 5. Quibbler. Okay. Stuff like that. Like, what is Filch's first name? Yeah.
Because it's something.
So like, I think she thought it was going to be like easy, but I went hard from the beginning.
Yeah.
But she did really well though. But like, yeah. So we had that quiz, and then in my mind, because people were leaving at like 6 and like 8, I thought we were all going to be in the airport together. But people had already went through security in other terminals. So it ended up like we ended up saying goodbye to her. And then Søren and I just went. We just went in like through security and then tried to find something to eat, right? And then we did, bro. We found, because we were like, we passed McDonald's and Subway. And we were like, we didn't want junk food, So we're like, let's find a restaurant where we can sit. Okay, bet. So we found this place called Houseman's, bro. Super busy, right? That's the only restaurant inside the place. So we go in, we get a table. First of all, the fucking table, was like, I think it was like maybe 20 centimeters lower than this table.
Oh, lower?
Yeah, so they were like built for hobbits, bro. So you had to sit like hunched over like a savage, which was just fucked up, right? Yeah. Strike number 1. So anyways, we look at the fucking menu, right? And they said meat specialties outside, but they didn't really have any meat specialties. It was like fish and chips.
Not like the Irish.
And like fucking Wurst salad, which is fucking sausage salad. Yuck. And fuck that, right? So anyway, I was like, okay, they have a burger, bet. I'll go with that. That's always a safe bet. And then we were like, should we get a Coke or lemonade? I was like, fuck it, we'll try the lemonade, right? Come back with the food. Okay, bro. So I have eaten,
that bad,
bro. Fucking, I have eaten maybe 1,000 burgers in my life.
Yeah,
I think that's a good estimate, right? Could be probably a couple hundred more. Could be probably a couple hundred less. But in that range, right? Mm-hmm. This was by far the worst burger I have ever gotten in my life. Okay, and I'm gonna fucking break it down to you now because this was just vexing.
It has to be really bad.
It was so bad. First of all, the bun, right?
Yeah.
The crumb on that piece of bread was way too dense and like heavy for a burger. Okay. It had like fucking oatmeal on top of it, yeah. Not like oatmeal, but like oats, like flakes of oats.
I was about to say oatmeal.
Okay, so the bun, dead. Fucking shit, yeah.
Was it hard as rock or?
It wasn't hard as rock, but it was like hard spongy, bro. So you could, but it took like some force to like.
Okay.
I didn't do that, but that's the density of the crumb on the bread, right? Bun dead. So the fucking patties, right? Bro, the sandal patties, right? Because they were so fucking chewy, and I knew exactly where they came from because I've made burgers at home, right, for my family, and had leftover patties left. When you put them in the fridge and then take them out the next day, they're fucking hockey pucks, bro. So we got double hockey pucks with like the weakest bacon in the world, right? Ooh. And this burger was like 30 euros. It was horrible. And lemonade was dead, bro. It was like, it wasn't even sweet at all. It was just like sour shit. That worked, bro. I actually, you know what I did? I actually wrote a review. I fucking trashed them. But like then I deleted Google, it. Or? No, on Google, yeah. But then I deleted it because I didn't want to be a hater, bro. But I'm just letting you know, if you're ever in Frankfurt Airport, don't go there.
Okay.
It looks like, okay, yeah, this is another. No, don't go there. It's fucking garbage.
So in Frankfurt Airport, it's not the
Terminal one is dead.
It's not the one in the center, right? Like it goes like in an oval.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna be able to answer that.
Okay.
Anyways, so then we had to wait for like time, right, and just had like jokes and whatever, right? Flight home, cool, boom, drops around off, and then yeah, that was it. I came home at like, I want to say like 1:30. I took the day off Friday.
Yeah,
that was like
good
cool.
Call. Yeah. I bet you enjoyed that.
But that burger, bro, I'm telling you, that was fucking horrible, bro. Horrible.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, and like
I almost want to go there just to try it.
The patties. The thing is, the patties were. It looked so amateurish, right? Because the patties were way smaller than like in circumference than the bread was, and it was just like
typical
horrible,
mistake.
bro.
Typical mistake.
Fucking noob, right? And I looked up; they have like a 4.6 rating, really? But it's just like I don't understand that. Maybe it's just me.
It must have been everything else. Like they're good
fucking
at
shit,
something.
bro. Shit, but like burgers supposed to be like because that's like a safe choice, right? Horrible, bro.
Ugh.
So yeah, that was my trip basically. But it was fun. We had a lot of fun. Apart from like the fucking gum patties, it was all good, bro.
I was about to say, it sounds like actually a good trip.
It was a good trip.
Aside all the corporate stuff, but that that's what it is. But
yeah,
that's good.
So that was it.
Interesting to me.
I have something for you.
You have something for me.
I have something for you because it was your birthday not too long ago.
Yes.
And I forgot to bring it to work, so I'm gonna give it to you now.
Okay. Interesting. And I didn't expect anything.
I wrapped this myself.
Okay, let's do this sort of like an unboxing. No, okay. Nice wrap.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually pretty good at wrapping gifts.
Okay.
Yeah, just applying myself, watching the women in my life through all these years. I think I finally got it.
So my first guess, without looking or anything, it's some sort of book. Because we've talked about books before, and there's been some, a little bit here and there. We're not. Well, I'm not.
Let's see.
That big of a reader, but
yeah.
If I can get it out, this will probably sound horrible on the mics, but okay.
It is a book.
It is a book. And what is it?
Show the camera. So this book is called Shantaram.
By Gregory David Roberts.
So let me tell you how how this book came into my life.
Yeah.
It's like because I was on social media or like Reddit or some shit some years ago.
Yeah.
And then I saw that it was announced that Charlie Hunnam was going to star in a new Apple TV Plus series called Shantaram. And I fucking love Charlie Hunnam, right? Because he was like Jackson in Sons of Anarchy. So I watched.
So it's a series as well.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But it was announced, and then I was like, okay, bet. And then I saw some interviews with him, and he was like, yeah, I was on vacation and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was reading this book, and he was like feeling sorry for his fiance because he was like reading this book all vacation. And then I thought, okay, bet I'll just read the book because it must be good. So bought the book, not this one. I bought it on my phone actually. I like reading on my phone. And I read it, bro. And this book is really, really good. It's really good. This is the only book I've ever read that made me cry. So at about like I'm not going to spoil anything, but like at some point in this book, your boy read something and he cried. And yeah,
900 pages.
And it's a real. But the thing is, it's a real like. It suits you because it's like a real. It's a story. I can tell you the overall story of the thing.
Well, what genre is it?
It's like, well, I mean, the guy claims
It's
like,
fiction.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, the guy claims it's like based on his life, but
Okay.
I don't know about all of that. No, so it's this guy, this Australian guy who's in prison, and his name is Lindsay, which is apparently also a male's name.
It is in Australia.
Yeah, I didn't know. Anyway, he breaks out of jail and then he goes to India, and then, he just, like, the things that happen to him, and the way he reflects on stuff in the book will kind of it'll resonate with you. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but that's a really good book. So there you go. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, the series. Right. Sorry. One season. I thought it was great. Got canceled. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Because I have been, I don't read that much. I think the longest book I've read, which wasn't fact, like what do you call it? It's not fiction, but is it just nonfiction? Like when it's books that are like
Yeah, let's
facts.
just call it that. Yeah.
No, but what is it called?
I think it's nonfiction.
Okay. So the
Real books.
Real books. No, but I'm not an avid reader, so and you know this, but I think the longest like fiction book I've read is like 300 pages or something.
This is long
and that's
as fuck.
one in my entire life.
Yeah.
I read a couple of nonfiction books, but again, they're that same length.
Yeah.
So I think I've read like 3 books in my entire life.
Yeah.
So,
But this is a story though, like
yeah.
a story, and I think you're gonna like it. It. We'll see in a couple episodes how. You let me know if you like it.
I will. I'll have to give you a full review.
Yeah.
But 900 pages.
Yeah.
I wonder how long that's gonna.
It's a mad boy of a book.
I'm trying to think ahead. Will I be done with it this year? I don't know. But
I mean, I read it in like record time, bro. But the thing is, I got like once I got into it, I got really into it. So, like, I wouldn't really consume any other form of media in like the weeks it took me to read this.
Okay, but I have this thing like when I read, even with the fiction that I read, I sort of start to get drowsy when I read.
Yeah. I see that.
Because it's like I don't know. It's just always that's why I haven't.
No, that happens to me too.
Okay.
But if I'm really invested, I just it doesn't. Then I will like fight the drowsiness.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about gifts, I have a bit of a dilemma. I'm not sure how to approach it because you know me, I can see both sides of the coin, of the sword or whatever you want to call it. But I'm curious to hear your take on it as well. So it's my dad's birthday coming up soon.
Yeah.
And he's turning 70. So
big 7-0.
Big 7-0. And he's sent this invitation with gifts, and it's not like a big party, but it's going to be, I think, my whole family. That's about
How
it.
many?
But, so I think we'll be like 8 people or something, between 8 or 10 people. And the bigger part of my family wrote in like a group message the other day saying, so we've come up with this idea and we're each going to pitch in this and this. Does everyone want to join? And then people came back saying, yes, I want to do this. I want to join with this amount, and so on, and so on. And I first wrote, I think it's a great idea, but I don't want to participate.
Why?
And the reason why I didn't want to participate and don't want to participate is because this is a person to me that I don't have that relationship with, where I see I don't per se need to give them a gift. It's not like as a parent or as a kid.
Yeah, you're going to have to elaborate on this.
No, but the way I see it, a parent, because they raise you and the things they do for you and stuff, they have some sort of capital. They have a bank account of all the things they've done for you. And I'm not saying you should keep score or keep check, but you still know, they've sacrificed a lot for you. Like my mother, she sacrificed a shit ton. So like no matter what she does for the rest of for the whole of her life, I mean, what she asks for, I'll be there for her.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I've had my ups and downs with my father, so I don't feel the same relationship there, and I just don't feel the need to give him a gift.
Right.
So that's the original like position I had and sort of still have, because sure, I could pitch in with a low amount. It won't affect me really. It's just a symbolic amount, but um, to me, it's not so much a principle, but just feels more symbolic than it needs to be. Like I'm doing it just because I have to, and I choose who I want to have what sort of relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
Like just because he's my blood doesn't mean I have to do some things for him or have a certain relationship with him.
Mm.
I don't think that way, at least. So, and in my opinion, we just don't have that great of relationship, and he doesn't give me gifts either. I mean, he does
Oh, really?
for the big, like for when I turned 30 last year.
Did you give him something when he turned 60?
I don't remember. I probably did, but I lived in England then, so
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking if the tradition or whatever is that you guys give each other something on the really big ones, maybe like he'll like raise his eyebrow at not getting something from you on this one.
and that's what I thought. But then I also thought, so he's getting gifts, right? But will it really stand out that I'm not a part of any of those gifts? I'm not sure, because yeah, I don't know. I'm curious on your take on this, because to me, I definitely see both sides, and I'll tell you what I've ended up doing afterwards. But
I don't know, bro. Obviously my relationship to my father is different than yours,
of
right?
course,
But I don't know. Really, like the first thought I had was like, I think you're overthinking. It's just fucking pitch into the gift and that's it. Like it's not
really,
that. Yeah. But the thing is, I was gonna say it's not that deep, but it obviously is, right? But that's why I asked about the 60 thing as well, because
yeah,
then it becomes kind of like, okay, then because then you're actively deciding not to give him a gift.
yeah.
Like that goes against the pattern you've like have had gift wise.
But to me, pattern or not, it's not about a pattern. It's about what is the current relation to this person.
Fair enough.
Where are you with this person?
Fair enough.
I mean, it's the same. We're friends now.
Mm-hmm.
What if? Well, I don't think we're not going to be friends in a year. But let's say we're not friends next year.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you a gift. Then you know what I'm saying?
Fair
Like,
enough. But I mean that's where the blood actually comes in and makes a difference, because he's still gonna be your father next year, whether you want to or not.
sure, but again, to me, blood doesn't mean you have to
That's true, bro.
have a relation to. I mean,
That's true. Bro. Okay, so what if you don't do it and he reacts?
I don't know.
I
I'm kind of curious.
yeah. Well, are you gonna
The
find
chaos.
out or?
Might fuck around and find out. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I mean, I talked over with my brother, and he also raised the thoughts. Why not just do it? And because it'll stand out, and he might get hurt more than he needs to, and so on and so on. And like I said at the beginning, I can definitely see both coins. Um, and then honestly, I ended up having uh, a note in my wallet, and I saw my mom yesterday, and I told her I'll just pitch in with this, so I don't have to have this, or I did it so I don't have to have that note on me anymore because I don't carry cash.
Mm,
So at this point, I pitched in because it unburdened me of something.
of a note.
Yes.
I think it's deeper than that. I think subconscious you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it so that I get it over with. Because that makes no sense,
That
bro.
too.
Like getting rid of a note sounds like you were just gonna throw it out if you didn't want to, like if you weren't gonna give it to your mom. So you pitched in and then
So I've ended up pitching in, yeah, and being part of the gift, but I'm still with the feeling that I don't really want to.
yeah, I like I understand what you're saying. I think it's just easier. Like you pitch in is easier. There's no like you don't have to have a potential confrontation regarding or like a
Mm,
comment or whatever. It's just you pitched in, that's it. Move on with life. And then we'll
yeah,
see how it is when he turns 80.
if he's still alive, yeah,
Yeah.
never know. Not saying that he should
No, no,
die,
no, no.
but
I get
yeah,
that. I get that.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, but in that relation with blood being blood, how do you see that? I mean, Because I'm not sure if that's actually a hot take or not, because I know some people who see it the same way, but I also know other people who are very against that.
So I agree with you. That the blood thing is not really what I meant. It's just like like he is your father regardless of what you say, right? That's just there's like degrees of how great you are being a father, but that stays. Whereas like friend is a title you can lose. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by that. But I think, yeah, I think like blood doesn't entitle you to shit. I mean, I think respect and love is something or are things that are earned, right? And then it's not just. I mean, unless you're like a parent, it's not something that comes without like conditions or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Trueness.
Trueness.
Trueness. Yeah.
All right. So, do you know what they're getting him?
That he's getting. We have a store called Pharaoh's.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other, but it's Pharaoh's. Everyone knows what it is. Yeah. And he's getting a gift card to that. Yeah.
What?
What?
Pharaohs.
Yes, the store with all the comic books, all the comic figures.
Your dad.
Yes.
He's into comics.
Oh yeah.
Oh, because I thought that was what you meant, but I was like, what?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
No, like he's
It's Pharaoh's cigars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So he has a treasure
Tell
chest.
the people what Pharaoh's cigars is. Sorry.
Right. So Pharaoh's cigar is. Oh, I forgot the name. What they have in England. It's basically. All right. I think in England they have like a store called Anime World, or they have some sort of some stores where there's both figures, like not toys per se, but figurines, and that's where you buy Labubus, I think they're called, and stuff like
You
that.
buy the bubbles and Pharaoh's cigars.
I think you can. I would imagine, honestly, if I had to buy it, and if someone asked me to buy it for them, I would probably check there if I was in the city.
Oh, to me, Pharaoh's is like like comic slash like fantasy store.
But doesn't that fit into there?
La Bubos? Neither, bro.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I might be off then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a
Yeah.
comic book main. I mean, they have a lot of books, really, mainly. So
By the way, La Bubos, I saw they got their own chocolate now.
what the?
Yeah, I think I saw it in Normal or some other store. It's fucking weird, bro. Yeah.
I can't believe it's still going on.
La Bubos are like the new fidget spinners.
Yeah, but it's been going on for like what, half a year, more than half a year, like almost a year, I think.
Bro, fucked. You know what I also said to myself? Like when the fidget spinners came out, I was like, okay, the next thing that comes out that's like this, I'm just gonna bulk buy. And like I missed the window, bro. So the next thing, I promise you right now, the next thing, getting that.
But how do you know it's the?
Well, I actually tasked my big son with like letting me know, but he obviously failed, right? But also,
Clearly.
it had been like 4 years or whatever since I told him. So
Yeah. Okay. I actually have a fidget spinner.
I've had several.
Okay. I went like for a full like titanium one. It's crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
Putting blades on your fidget spinner.
No.
Okay, I did that with my Beyblade when I was a kid.
Yeah. Of course.
I didn't give a
The
fuck.
Beyblade.
Bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck.
Beyblade was goated.
It's crazy. I never really got the cartoon like the anime though. Like
No, I've never
because
tried.
they had like the fucking spinny things had souls and like yeah, it was weird, bro.
Okay. I saw a guy who was walking around like with a Beyblade arena and a couple of like random ones,
Yeah,
and just challenging random people in the street.
nice.
We just walked up to a guy with the arena and the Beyblades in hand. Do you want to battle? And then they fucking battled out in the middle of the street, like
Nice.
just random street.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like the premise of like that, and then if you take it like in the anime, it's also fucked up because imagine like you're settling big disputes like, oh, you killed my friend, fucking let's battle
Let's
it
battle
out,
it out.
motherfucker, right? And
Let's
then you
rip it.
fucking like the fucking
Yeah.
spinny. Nah, fuck, bro. No.
Yeah. Don't they say like let's rip it or something when?
Oh,
when they-
I don't remember.
No?
Remember. I wasn't that much into
Okay.
to that. I was more into Yu-Gi-Oh. Bro, I
Right.
wiped the floor with people in Yu-Gi-Oh, like adults, proper
Okay.
adults, bro. Yeah. I was really great. You know how I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh? I'll never
How?
forget this. I've spent money on Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid. I'm talking from like 8 to I want to say like 10.
Okay.
Hardcore, right? And then what had happened was I had the cards in like this blue box, and when they were playing tournaments, and this was like before smartphones, right? So we were writing
Yeah.
down like the health
Scores.
points
Oh,
and
health
shit.
points. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, I put my pen and my pad in with the cards, and I closed the box and sealed it. It's like this. You know how when like back in the day when you went to like a place and they sold like candy, they had like these little blue boxes that like served as a register.
Yeah.
That's what I had. Fucking
Okay.
dropped the box, bro. The pen exploded, and all my cards were inked. And I was like,
No
in that second,
way.
when I saw that in that second, I'll never forget this. I was with my mom. I'll never forget this. In that second, I lost all love for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like the card game, at least, like the actual cards, because then I was like sad, but I was like also like numb because I think I was like in shock. And then like my mom took me and she got me like a Yu-Gi-Oh game for like the Game Boy
Yeah.
I had. And basically I could just play there, right? So I just played there. But yeah, like that was like fuck, bro.
That's a
Fuck.
crazy way to go out
Yeah.
because it's so, I don't know, detrimental. Like, it's so, disheartening to see that happen. And then you're just like, shit, there went my life, so to
Yeah,
speak,
bro. Yeah, bro. That sucked. That sucked.
Fuck.
So yeah.
I get that. Damn.
Yeah.
But nice that you could continue on the Game Boy then, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Game Boy was fire, bro. I'll never
Nice.
understand. You know how many kids are growing up right now not playing Pokemon on their like Game Boys? That's crazy.
But I don't think it was just the Game Boy. I think it was also the community around it, because then you had those like cables with linking and sharing
I only
Pokemon.
did that once or twice. I never really had that.
Okay.
I never
But
really
at,
had
at
that.
least in my school, people were bringing the Game Boys to the school, and we were sitting in lunch breaks outside, on the bench playing and
That's
stuff.
crazy. I've never seen that. Like, I think people in where you came from had more money because there were no. Like, I was afraid to bring my Game Boy to school. I was afraid it was going to get taken. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was fucked up.
I don't know why I wasn't afraid, because again, I mean, we both come from
Yes.
certain upbringings, so yeah, I don't know. I think it was just like a group thing. So
Fair.
yeah,
Fairness. Fairness.
and I definitely think I would have fucked someone up if they tried to. If I can take it from you, man.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
wasn't about to find out. So.
I mean, I brought, when I was a kid, I once brought fireworks to school. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's
so
fucked up.
I tried to sell it.
That's fucked up. Oh, to sell it? I thought you were like pranking. Okay.
No, I tried to sell it. Yeah, because my brother, he had, like, it was around that time,
Mm,
and on our indoor like balcony, sort of this area out here,
mm.
he had a moving box with a bunch of hexahul.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what they're called, but
Explain to the people what it is.
so it's a type of firework where it's a long like rod.
Like cigarette shaped.
Yeah,
Basically same size too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
you light it, and then it just starts like not screaming, but like howling in a very high pitch.
Screeching
Screeching.
is the
That's
word he's
that's
looking
the
for.
word. Yeah. So it starts screeching in a very high pitched noise, and it's kind of fun, and it's allowed for not kids but like teenagers and stuff like that.
Mm.
And he was a teenager at the time, but he had it out there, and I don't know. I wanted to make some money, I guess.
Mm.
So I grabbed some, put it in a little plastic bag, brought it to school, started fucking trying to sell it to all the other kids. Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Did you sell any?
I, I, I think it was stopped before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I mean I don't have it in memory, but it's from like from what my mom told me.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
the school called her and like, yeah, your kid's trying to sell firework. That's not allowed. So
yeah.
we're gonna have to come and get him.
That's
No
fucked
shit.
up. That's fucked up.
It
That's
is.
fucked up. I don't really fuck with fireworks like that. You
No.
did when I was a kid. We played with those, the ones you just mentioned the little cigarette shaped ones.
Yeah.
Played a lot with those, bro. Bro, I've blown up toy
If,
soldiers. Blown them up.
yeah, because if you stomped on them, it
Well,
was
the thing is, you had to do this little like trick where like, you didn't have to stomp on them, but like in the end, right before the fuse, actually on what's the other side? I don't remember. Yeah, no, you had to do it by the fuse, and then it would blow up.
yeah,
Yeah, not gonna lie, it happened in my hand once, and in like because it wasn't that because obviously nothing happened, right? But I didn't look immediately, and it was so numb that I was afraid that I was gonna look and something
oh
like wasn't gonna
shit,
be there. But then I looked and I was like, it was like fine. Then I like was like mesmerized by how like numb the hand was, and then I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
yeah, no thank you.
But now, bro, it's just like a waste of money. Like I'll let other people buy that shit. I think it's just like fucked.
I was contemplating it, with I saw a store had like a battery 40 shots for like 70 Danish kroners or something.
Mm.
There wasn't so much, so I was like, I thought about it, but
It's
in the
just,
end, I like to
yeah.
go up to a vantage point and see all the
Yeah.
fireworks. So
It's just fucked, bro. I don't know. I'm over that. I'm over fireworks. Also, not also because, but funny story, not funny either, but story related to fireworks. So
mm,
I'm from like a Danish city called Kolding, right? And a part of Kolding is called Seest, and we had a factory that made fireworks. You know the story.
yeah,
That made fireworks there, and it fucking blew up and was like on the world news. Like I had family in Mexico calling me, telling me like yo, we watched this on the news. Are you guys okay? Let me tell you how that was, because I remember that day. I wasn't that old. I don't remember. It was like I want to say like 10 or 11. And this factory was a good between 6 and 8 kilometers away from my house.
okay,
Right. Uh, it blows up. I don't remember if I heard it, but what I do remember vividly were fucking pieces of burning carton falling down from the sky.
yeah,
That was insane,
I bet.
dude. Insane. And yeah, that was it, right? And then I can tell you that, like New Year's evening, that day in Calling was not popping firework wise, bro. It wasn't, and like no, but it was actually horrible, right? Because like people lost their homes and stuff.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure.
that was crazy. That was really insane.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest. I can't remember if there's been one after that, but else it is the biggest firework like accident we've had in
I'm pretty
Denmark. I
sure
think.
in the
Yeah,
world it could be. I mean, this was massive,
yeah,
massive. So yeah, that was pretty messed up.
for sure, for sure. Speaking of fireworks, there are some movies that like to, you know, have a lot of explosions.
Hmm.
Um, and I recently watched Avatar, the new Avatar, Fire and
Mm.
Ash. Yeah. Um.
I'm waiting to watch it until it comes out.
Okay. Yeah,
But let's go. Let's go.
I'll
Movie
keep it
corner.
spoiler free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Be
yeah, for
gentle.
sure. Be
Movie
gentle.
corner. Let's go.
um. So I wouldn't say it has a. Well, if you remember the second one,
Mm.
there's a lot of battle scenes. Well, some, and some are quite like glorious.
Mm.
Especially the last one where the fire.
I don't remember. I know the plot of the second one, but I don't remember.
Okay, but do you remember a whale jumping up on like a
Yes.
battleship?
Mm.
Yes, that's like the last battle that's happening. Um,
What's the
and
name of the kid again? The little hybrid dude? Spider?
oh, the human one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I saw you were saying the water one.
No, no,
No,
no,
no,
no.
I
I
can't
don't know why I
remember.
said hybrid. The
Yeah,
little kid. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But no, I thought the Avatar Fire and Ash was really good. I thought the second one was terrible. First one was great, but the third one here
Better than the first one?
on par with the first
How are we
one.
rating it on a 1 to 10?
I'm around a 9.
Let me just let me just tell the people, yeah, because they need to know this as well.
Yeah,
So, on the 1 to 10 scale, if young Enrique over here rates it below a 7, the movie's garbage.
yeah.
Yeah. Some say he's generous with the ratings. I am one of them. 9 is high, so that's 9 is high, bro. 9 is really high.
Yeah, I rarely give
Yeah.
anything.
Okay,
But
9.
I would give it a 9.
Damn, bro.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of different sites and places give it low, but I've also seen, for example, IMDb, which
Mm.
I use most. It's all, I can't remember what
Yeah,
it's
but
at.
that's the thing, because I read it was trash, bro.
Yeah.
I read it was trash. Like they like, yeah, James Cameron stopped making movies. Like I read it was bad.
And it seems like it's really split. I don't know.
Damn, okay,
Yeah.
I'll see. Because I'm not gonna lie, the plot of Avatar is mid to me.
Mm.
But the visuals are stunning. I watch it for the visuals. So I'm gonna wait until it comes out. on
But
streaming
they're
service.
obviously bringing in this Fire Nation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not a spoiler. And it's just so different.
Okay.
Like it's not what you're used to.
Okay.
And the way they're bringing it in and the way they're showing what kind of civilization they are and
Are they evil? They're evil. I can tell by his face.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how you see it, honestly,
Oh fuck!
because
He always does this.
because
Oh, it depends what you define.
yeah,
Look. Are they in normal speaking terms? Would they be considered evil? Let's say antagonists.
yes, yes, they would.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. They would. Yeah. But no, it's just I don't know. considering the astonishing visuals that the movie already always has, because even though the second one was dead, it was still it looked great. With coupling that with the character telling of what these characters are and how they interact and what they want and so on and what happens in the movie, it's just golden, honestly.
Yo, remind me again, what happened to Full Metal Jacket, the bad guy? Did he
Bad
like
guy?
get reincarnated into a younger body, or in the second one, or?
He got put into a avatar body.
Oh, that's right, he did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he's an avatar as well now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just worked out the plot right now. Like right now, I just worked out the plot.
You
Right
think
now.
so?
Yeah, 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 bro.
Let me hear
Are you
it.
ready to hear it?
Let me
Okay.
hear it.
So, either like the leader or like a prominent figure in the Fire Nation is a baddie, yeah. And Full Metal Jacket is gonna get with the baddie.
It's gonna get with the petty.
Yes. And when I say baddie, I mean like a hot chick, like a hot
Right,
Navi
yeah.
chick. And he's gonna take his hot, like, well, pause, his Navi, and he's gonna like, yeah, they're gonna get together and they're gonna like fuck it up for Jake and them.
Interesting take.
Yeah, that's. I just figured it out right now, bro.
Well, I look forward to you seeing it.
Yeah, should probably be some time. Do you know when it's coming out on streaming services?
No, because it only came out around Christmas.
Right,
So I think it'll be another 2 months maybe.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening, guys. If you liked the episode, please give us a comment. Let us know what you liked. If there's anything you want us to talk about, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.